The Forest of Shadows. Deep in the heart of the dense ancient forest where sunlight struggled to pierce the thick canopy, the villagers often spoke in hushed tones about the Duendes. These mythical creatures, small and malevolent, were said to dwell in the shadows, guardians of the forest and its secrets. Marta, a young woman from a nearby village, had always dismissed these tales as mere superstitions, until one fateful evening. It was late autumn and Marta had ventured into the forest to gather herbs for her grandmother's remedies. The forest, usually brimming with life, was eerily silent that day. The only sound was the crunch of leaves under her feet and the distant call of a lone owl. As she wandered deeper, a sense of unease crept over her. The trees seemed to close in, their gnarled branches twisting like skeletal fingers. Marta paused to catch her breath, wiping sweat from her brow. That's when she noticed the first sign, a small footprint, too tiny to be human, yet distinctly humanoid, imprinted in the soft earth. She knelt down, examining it closely, her heart quickening. Could it be? She shook her head, dismissing the thought, and pressed on. The path grew narrower and the light dimmer, until Marta found herself in a dark, enclosed grove. The air was thick and the smell of damp earth filled her nostrils. She felt a chill run down her spine, as if unseen eyes were watching her every move. Suddenly, she heard a rustling sound behind her. She spun around, but saw nothing. The forest was playing tricks on her, she told herself. But the rustling grew louder, closer. Marta's breath hitched as she saw a flash of movement out of the corner of her eye, a small, dark figure darting between the trees. Panic surged through her veins. She turned to flee, but her feet felt rooted to the ground. The stories of the Duendes echoed in her mind. Guardians of the forest, malevolent spirits, capable of leading the unwary astray. A soft, eerie laughter filled the air, and Marta felt a tug at her skirt. She looked down to see a tiny, shadowy figure, no taller than her knee, with glowing eyes and a wicked grin. Her scream caught in her throat as the duende darted away, disappearing into the undergrowth. Marta stumbled backward, tripping over a root, and fell to the ground. When she opened her eyes, the grove was empty. The oppressive atmosphere had lifted and the forest seemed to breathe again. Shaking, Marta scrambled to her feet and ran, not stopping until she reached the edge of the forest. She never spoke of her encounter, but from that day on, she knew the truth about the Duendes. They were real and they guarded their forest with a watchful eye. Those who dared to intrude would face their wrath and their lives would never be the same. The Whispering Walls. In the quaint village of San Lorenzo, nestled at the edge of a sprawling, enchanted forest, the old church had stood for centuries. Its stone walls, weathered by time, held secrets and stories of long-forgotten days. Among the villagers, there was a chilling legend of duendes. Tiny, supernatural beings known to inhabit the dark corners of the world. Though most dismissed the tales as folklore, Miguel, a local historian, was intrigued by the mysteries of the past. One crisp winter morning, Miguel decided to explore the church's abandoned bell tower, rumored to be a haven for duendes. He had heard whispers of strange occurrences, objects moving on their own, eerie laughter in the dead of night, and fleeting glimpses of small shadowy figures. Determined to uncover the truth, he brought along his loyal dog Rex, known for his keen senses and protective nature. As they approached the church, Rex began to growl softly, his ears perked and eyes alert. Miguel felt a twinge of unease but pressed on, climbing the winding, crumbling staircase. The air grew colder as he ascended and a sense of foreboding settled over him. The tower was dimly lit by narrow, stained glass windows, casting ghostly patterns on the walls. Miguel reached the top, finding himself in a small dusty chamber. The bell, tarnished and silent, loomed above him. He shivered, pulling his coat tighter around him. As he began his search, Miguel noticed strange markings etched into the stone walls, intricate patterns that seemed to shift and change when viewed from different angles. He traced them with his fingers, feeling a slight warmth emanate from the stone. Rex started barking furiously, his eyes fixed on a dark corner of the room. Miguel's heart pounded as he felt a gentle tug at his scarf. He spun around, catching a glimpse of a tiny, impish face peering out from behind the bell. The duende's eyes glowed with an unnatural light, and a wicked grin spread across its face. Miguel froze, unable to move or speak. The creature vanished in an instant, leaving behind a faint echo of laughter. He felt a chill down his spine as more duendes appeared, darting in and out of the shadows. They whispered in a language he couldn't understand, their voices a haunting melody. Miguel realized he had intruded upon their domain. Fear gripped him, but a strange fascination kept him rooted to the spot. Rex continued to bark and growl, his fur standing on end. Suddenly, the bell tower seemed to come alive. The walls whispered and the air vibrated with an ancient energy. Miguel knew he had to leave before it was too late. He backed away slowly, his eyes never leaving the darting figures. As he reached the staircase, the duende's whispers grew louder, more insistent. Rex tugged at his pant leg, urging him to leave. Miguel descended quickly, nearly tripping in his haste. He burst out of the church, gasping for breath. The village seemed unnaturally still, as if holding its breath. Miguel never returned to the bell tower, but the memory of the duendes stayed with him. He understood now why the villagers feared them. They were guardians of the old ways, protectors of their secret world, and those who trespassed did so at their peril. The shadows of the bell tower continued to whisper, and the duendes watched from their hidden corners, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to wander into their lair. Rex, once playful and fearless, never ventured near the church again, his instincts sharp and wary of the unseen threats that lurked within.